You're welcome, Annie.
Thank you. Our next speaker, I'll just share my screen. Our next speaker is, there's no questions in the chat. I think I forgot that. No questions in the chat. Our next speaker is the founder and director of Bridge Excellence International, Ms. Paulette Lewis. Ms. Paulette Lewis is on a journey of a lifelong learning, which has taken her into a range of work settings in the social and humanitarian sectors. She is a certified professional coach, a Berkman professional, and an HR advisor with approximately 30 years of work experience. She is focused on the development and growth of individuals and groups, either in her current role as a leadership career coach and an HR advisor, or in her role as a former HR lead in several United Nations World Food Program supported countries, or her early years of engagement with government of Jamaica. Ms. Paulette has drawn on all these experiences to establish Bridge Excellence International, which is a career coaching, leadership, and advisory firm, and which has invited us today for this webinar, the first one of its kind. And we are excited to have you, Ms. Paulette. Welcome, and also the floor is yours. Let me share her presentations shortly.
Okay, so thank you so much, Wendy. I must say a big thank you to all of you who have taken the time to attend this webinar today. I'd like to thank Ron, for the presentation that he did earlier, because it has actually set the pace for what I'm going to say. I don't have to go too much into the history of AI, but for the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you just to help you to appreciate that there are some changes taking place in the workplace as a result of AI, and more specifically, generative AI. And basically to share with you some work that Bridge Excellence International is doing that could help to, especially with issues surrounding soft skills, that we would like to work with organizations and individuals to reach that point where whatever challenges you have in your organizations, you'll be able to manage them. And as Rohan said, there are about 4 different approaches, and he's advocating, I could see, for the more positive ones. And as coaches, we advocate for the improvement of individuals, we advocate for the improvement of organizations. So first of all, before we go into more details, first of all, and during this session, I'm also going to be including some polls as a way of getting your involvement. And we're going to look very briefly at some studies, not in too many details because we don't have the time today, but just to bring to your awareness that there's a lot of research going on. And my objective is that perhaps we could, when we send you the materials, we could actually send you a listing with some links to some of this research, because we talk about, people are saying, okay, hey, they said AI is coming so many years ago. Where is it? Is it really happening? And basically, where can I find information to support that? And then we're going to look a little bit on coaching, evidence-based coaching, which I actually practice. We're going to look as well at one of the tools we use, the Berkman tool, and then we could see how you could perhaps utilize some of these in your organization. So, how AI will usher in a world of work that is anchored around human ability and how we can prepare for it. So I did ask for us to look at a few polls. We have gone through the objectives, yes. Could we go to the polls? Okay, so then my question for you as far as this activity is concerned is, what are some skills gaps now faced by global organizations into the future? I don't know what happened to our presentation. Right. What are the skills gaps now faced by global organizations into the future? Why would leadership be identified as a soft skill? So, for those of you who are there and you can access the poll, could you enter an answer? What are the skills gaps now faced by global organization into the future? And just a very brief answer so that we can move on. Why would leadership be identified as a soft skill? And later on, we look at what you think coaching is. So are they typing in the chat, Wendy, or they're actually using the poll? And I see a note here that said the host and the panelists cannot vote. So can we have some answers? Anyone?
It's for the participants.
Right.
Yes. So they can put the answers in the chat.
Right. I see we have several participants. Anyone wishing to either put an answer here or in the chat? What do you think some of the skills gaps are that organizations are facing globally? Okay. So we'll move on, and a little later we'll come back to some of that. At this moment, I'd like to mention some of the research that has been done by various organizations. We've had the World Economic Forum and the World Bank, and as we know, these are organizations that have a high social responsibility. And so, you know, if we're asking what's the source of the information about soft skills in organization, those would be organizations that have some, I would say, responsibility, have a, you know, and they need to help globally for people to see what the needs are. And so the World Economic Forum, in their research of future of jobs, there's a report that they did in 2023, and they found out that there were the soft skills that, or the in-demand skills, were problem solving, self-management, ability to work with people, technology use and development. And for the World Bank, they talked about education must equip with relevant market skills that blend knowledge and technical know-how with soft skills and a bit of hard skills. And we have LinkedIn. I think several of us are subscribed to this group, and they have done a lot of research. They have looked at what's coming up on their site in terms of jobs that people are, vacancy announcements that people are placing. And they have noted that there's a growth in the demand for skills, for soft skills. And certainly in parallel with jobs where people need to have the AI technology. Deloitte, which is another large organization, as they have surveyed companies and found out that empathy, collaboration, adaptability are some of the very important skills. And they call these durable skills, which they feel that you can change in your organization. People can be trained to improve, pretty much as if you're playing an instrument, according to them. And then we have the business name generator. They surveyed 1,015 US employees across 12 countries. And they just wanted to find out what the thoughts of American. And well, just to say that a lot of the research that we have privy to, they've pretty much been done in the United States. And on a personal note, whenever I see these studies, I tend to say, look, can we know a little bit more about what's going on in other parts of the world? Because sometimes there are slight differences, and because of cultural differences, the results could be slightly different. But they have found out that AI has catalyzed the shift in demand for specific skills. And organizations need to help their staff to deepen certain existing skills and to integrate new ones like personal attributes and non-technical skills. So overall, there is a need. And what I've also noted, there is a research that I've looked at, which has to do with an academic group. It's consisting of individuals in the universities in the United States and Germany. And they have surveyed over 692 business practitioners. So what you have here is, I don't want to call it an overlap, an integration, because sometimes people say, oh, there's a lot of research being done, they're academic and they're not even applicable to the real world. But in this instance, they surveyed business practitioners and just to find out what are the skills that they're looking for. And they have found out that quite a range of findings there. They have seen that AI, that professionals, the jobs that they are doing, people with masters and bachelor's degrees, that the jobs that they're doing, AI, it's a lot, some people are doing a lot of writing and so on. They have found out that AI is taking some of that. And so the question is, what happens to these individuals? But the emphasis now, they have found out in the research that there's a lot of need for various soft skills. There's also a research which has been done by another group, and they have indicated that although AI is taking over some of the certain skills sets, they're not likely to be able to take, and as Rowan mentioned earlier, they're not likely to take over all the jobs, the duties that someone performs. Because in that perspective, um,